Welcome to Iconic Doll, a series here on MPD where we talk about the design, the history, and the legacy of dolls throughout the years. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Princess Diana porcelain portrait doll created by the Franklin Mint. And y'all, this story has everything. We have a gorgeous doll. We have a princess. We have a little bit of controversy because what's a good story without a little bit of conflict? So grab your beans on toast and get ready because this video is going to be a lot of fun. Franklin Mint advertised this doll in various magazines throughout 1997 and 1998. So let's have a look at the advertisement. In the advertisement, it says that this doll is an heirloom commemorative to cherish forever, created to keep her beauty and spirit alive. It was destiny that crowned her Princess of Wales, but it was her own enduring spirit and compassion that crowned her Queen of Hearts. And though she is gone, she is still in our hearts, and those who revere her are dedicated to keeping her memory alive. To that end, the Franklin Mint is honored to present an historic collecting opportunity, Diana, Princess of Wales Porcelain Portrait Doll. A celebration of her legendary beauty and style, crafted in fine porcelain and painted by hand to capture the radiant blue eyes and shy smile that touched us all. Dressed in the only authentic replica of the stunning designer gown with bolero jacket sold at Christie's auction, hand-beaded just like the original and completely accessorized with a glittering royal tiara, earrings, a clutch bag, and a single full-blown rose. Be among the first to own this loving tribute, just $195 payable in convenient monthly installments, individually hand-numbered and available only from the Franklin Mint. Now they point out that this doll wears the only exact replica of the dress the Franklin Mint purchased at Christie's auction, where all proceeds were donated to Diana's favorite charities. More to come on that in a little bit. That also say that Franklin Mint has pledged a minimum of $1.5 million worldwide to charity in tribute to the beloved Princess Diana. So more on that as well later. It's interesting to me to always see these old advertisements. Now the copy that I have that you see here has a sticker on it. As a valued Franklin Mint collector, you have the exclusive opportunity to place your advance reservation now. This actually came in the trunk of the vinyl Diana portrait doll, which I have. One of the interesting things to note on this is that it says the doll is shown smaller than actual size of approximately 16 inches. In reality, this doll is closer to 17 inches tall. So while the vinyl portrait doll is around 16 inches, the porcelain portrait dolls end up to be around 17 inches. So I do think that's an interesting thing to note, and that's one of those things that can just happen in manufacturing. You know, when you make a proof of something or you make the first, cast or whatever, as production happens, things can change just a little bit, minor changes, and so she does end up to be around 17 inches in size. Diana came boxed in a box like this with a silver seal on the front that says Diana, Princess of Wales, and Wales is spelled correctly. I have seen it spelled like the mammal on a few dolls before. And you can see the top lifts out, and then the doll would be in here, and this is how she would be protected. I also think it's interesting to show you guys the jewelry container that came with her. She has a nice jewelry box, and inside this jewelry box would have been her crown. You can see how that would have laid in the jewelry box there. So very nice overall presentation of the doll. Let's look at the doll herself now, and I have two copies of this doll. I've got this one that you guys have seen here, and I also have one undressed that I can show you. So let's talk first about the dress doll that I have, because I want to show you how exquisite everything with this doll is. First of all, you've got the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara replica on her head, which is gorgeous. It comes on and off, and it's a very heavy, nice piece. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful representation, a beautiful replica of this tiara on her head, so I love that. She also has the drop earrings, the pearl drop earrings, which were, from what I understand, created from pearls that were removed from the top of this tiara somewhere back in time, because the tiara originally had pearls on top as well. It had like a double row of pearls, and so these earrings were created from that. Now, this dress, we have the bolero, and we have all these hand-beaded pearls on it, which are absolutely gorgeous. She also came with a rose. Here's the rose, and the rose has a small detail. It has a little wire on the thumb so that she can hold that on. She also has her clutch, which has a string on it that helps her hold that in her hand as well. So she came with those accessories plus the stand, and just a really, really gorgeous doll. Now I want to show you guys how she looks undressed, because I think it's very interesting to note something. I had the pleasure of speaking with one of the designers that was on the Diana design and development team. His name is Tracy Allen Knight, and he works on the team designing these dolls, and he shared some tidbits of information with me. I was very grateful to be able to speak to him. One of the things is that they focused very much on ensuring there were no seams in the porcelain, because you can see how gorgeous the sculpting is, and the dresses that Diana wore, specifically this dress, which is called the Elvis dress because Diana herself called it the Elvis dress. It feels very Elvis with the high stiff collar and the bolero jacket. Just a very, I could definitely see why she would call it the Elvis dress. But it's got this, the way that it's cut, you want to be able to show that beautiful collarbone and the beautiful sculpting off. So they wanted to ensure that there were no seams in the sculpt when the porcelain was done, and she is just absolutely incredibly beautiful. You can also see the way the body is constructed here, so that you can see she's got this cloth body on the bottom for her legs, and her actual legs look great. Diana herself had gorgeous legs. Like, she had beautiful, beautiful legs, and I think this doll really captures, the sculpt really captures almost the shape of her legs, because there's so many photographs of her out there, and you can see her in heels, in dresses, and you can just see the shape of her legs, and I think this doll really does a good job capturing that. Now you can also see here on the undressed doll the hand numbering and how they numbered this. Now it's not really known, no one really knows how many of these dolls they actually made. I would guess that in the thousands for sure, and they are readily available on the secondary market. You can see I have two of them here. But nobody really knows for sure how many were actually made. I would guess it was probably an open edition, like a time limited instead of a number limited. For a certain amount of time they took orders. That's just my guess. I don't know if that is for sure. But anyway, I do think she has a beautiful, gorgeous likeness of Diana's face. She just has such a gorgeous face, and if you've seen other Diana dolls, you'll probably know what I mean here. She's just got that, again, the side glancing eyes, the shy smile that they talk about in the advertisement. She's really a stunning, stunning doll. Each doll also came with a letter from the Franklin Mint that explains that the gown is beaded by hand with over 2,000 faux pearls, and they include with her some additional pearls. So her hang tag from her wrist, you've got additional pearls and thread here, and it does tell you that do not clip hanging threads which were previously attached to missing beads, because of the way that the beading is done. If you clip those knots, you'll lose more beads, and so they make sure to tell you to knot that and then sew another bead on. So I think it's nice that they included the extra beads here, and I feel very fortunate to have gotten a doll that still had the extra beads. I got a doll in the box with everything with her, so that was a really nice thing for me. Also, you got a envelope that says she was the People's Princess and will forever rule in the kingdom of our hearts, a certificate of authenticity that talks about the doll, and then a care paper, a care instruction sheet for how to care for your doll. Now, this doll, let's talk about the dress for just a minute. The dress was designed by Catherine Walker, and the dress was originally designed for Diana to wear to Hong Kong. However, she got the dress early. She couldn't wait to wear it, and so she wore it without the bolero to the British Fashion Awards, and that was the first time she actually wore the dress, but without the bolero. So what's really nice about what Franklin Mint did is they made it so that you could remove the bolero easily and you would have both looks for the doll. So in the back you can see everything is done with hook and eye closures. So you can easily remove the bolero and you can have that look that she had. It's two looks in one, really, if you're wanting to replicate different looks from Princess Diana. And I think that is a really awesome thing that they made the doll, you know, undressable, redressable, so that you could customize how you wanted. So now let's talk about how this doll came to be, because the story is extremely fascinating. The Franklin Mint attended the auction at Christie's in July of 1997. Now this was a famous auction where Diana donated 79 of her dresses for charity auction. They were to be auctioned at Christie's and all the proceeds were to go to charity. So let's take a look at a clip from that just so you guys can get an idea of what it was like.
So that makes a grand total of just over $5,700,000, which I think is something of a record for a charity event.
So that would have been such an exciting event to attend. And this dress was purchased specifically by the Franklin Mint for $151,000. That was the winning bid for this dress. They had the intentions of creating a Diana portrait doll at that time. Now, little did they know and little did the world know that she would sadly pass away the next month. So in that tragic accident, she passed away, but they moved forward with the doll, and instead she became a commemorative porcelain portrait doll. And so you can see that here. Now, one of the things that I find extremely fascinating that Tracy Allen Knight told me about the design of this doll and the outfit is that they, as the design team, were actually able to handle the dress. They got to handle the Catherine Walker dress that Diana wore on several occasions, and they examined it very carefully, and that is how they have this replica of this dress. And that is why the Franklin Mint touts it as the only real replica of this dress. And, you know, in reality, I guess they can say that because they actually had the physical dress to base their design and their pattern off of. But after the dress was made for the doll, they used the dress for the doll, the dress was put on display in the Franklin Mint Museum. Now that museum is now defunct, but the dress was in a display case that was floor to ceiling, temperature controlled, so it had no humidity, had an even temperature all throughout to preserve the dress, because it really is just, it's such an iconic piece of, you know, fashion as art. It not only is it associated with an amazing person, but an amazing designer, and it's just such, again, I hate to use the word iconic so many times, but it is an iconic look. And so this was the first doll that came out in the porcelain series. Now there were many other dolls that came after this, but she was the first one, and she is just absolutely stunning. I love her, and I think something that people overlook a lot of times is some of the porcelain dolls from the 80s and 90s, because they were mass produced, but they are absolutely gorgeous dolls, and I feel like they have a lot of value. There is so much detail to this dress. There is so much detail to the face and so much care given to the sculpting, and all the work that has gone into this doll is just absolutely phenomenal. So now let's talk a little bit about the controversy. Shortly after Diana's death, the Diana Fund was established to raise money for Diana's favorite charities. And the Diana Fund decided to sue the Franklin Mint for creating Diana memorabilia, basically, and the reason was for trademark dilution. Well, they did not win that lawsuit. It was decided that Princess Diana was not a commodity, so to speak, but because the things that she was doing were mostly charitable work, she wasn't being paid to be present at different places. She was doing it, you know, as her works of service for society. And so they did not win the lawsuit. And what happened is the Franklin Mint ended up countersuing them for the frivolity of the lawsuit, and they ended up settling by making a donation to Diana's favorite charity. So the Franklin Mint didn't get any money out of the situation, neither did the Diana Fund, but they came to an agreement that certain monies would be donated to her favorite charity. So how does that make me feel as a doll collector about the doll, knowing that the Diana Fund did sue the Franklin Mint for doing that? I have mixed feelings about it. You know, there was a long story about whether or not the Diana would have wanted to be a doll, and she had said at one point she didn't want to be a Barbie. But I also think as such a public figure, you know, not everybody in life can go buy or bid on one of her dresses or even an autograph from her. Her autographs sell for bukus of money, and so I feel like she meant so much to so many people. If you have something like this is a way that you can feel still connected to her and still remembering and honoring her legacy through these dolls. And they're absolutely, again, beautiful dolls. So that's the controversy that came up with these. But I feel like in the end, you know, with them making the donation to the different charitable places, the different charities that she supported, I feel like all's well that ends well, I guess, if you could say it that way. In the end, what's the legacy of the doll and the dress? The doll can easily be gotten on the secondary market, and I think she is a very valuable collectible, not only for doll collectors, but for people who honor and revere Princess Diana and would like a nice piece of remembrance for her in their homes. You know, I would recommend checking your secondary market, eBay, Facebook Marketplace. That's where I've gotten mine. And again, not very expensive at all. Now, what about the sales of the doll? $1.5 million was donated to the Ormond Street Children's Hospital. So that was one of Diana's favorite charities, and they did actually donate the money there. What about the dress itself? The dress itself today is at the Victoria and Albert Museum, and the Franklin Mint donated the dress to them. So in the end, I feel like the Franklin Mint did the honorable thing by donating the money to the charity and also by donating the dress. They didn't sell the dress. They could have sold the dress for a lot more than what they paid for it, because again, tragically, you know, she passed away a month after this, a little more than a month after this auction, and they chose not to do that. When they chose to close their doors to the museum, they donated the dress to the Victoria and Albert Museum. And it is on a rotational display, so sometimes you can see it on display there. I hope one day to make it over there and see her dresses on display either at Kensington Palace or at the Victoria and Albert Museum the next time they go on display. I know they do it from time to time, and I think that would be a really exciting trip for me. But I just adore this doll. I adore all the porcelain dolls that the Franklin Mint made in the likeness of Our Lady Diana, and I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed, please make sure you're subscribed so you can see further episodes of Iconic Dolls. This is the first in a series, and I plan on making this a regular series here on the channel. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
I want to say a huge thank you to my patrons from Patreon: Lindsay S., Leah W., Doreen Z., Janice H., Mercedes W., Cindy K., Bear Sunflower, Diane B., Kelly L., Cindy L., Susie W., Krista R., Victory Run, Shorna R., Shira Star Hobby, Stephanie W., Jessica S., Ray M., Asia C., and Black Y. Thank you so much for your support. Your support helps me continue to bring you great dolly content. For information on how you can become a supporter of this channel, please check the link in the video description. Thank you for watching.